KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years. Matson, gold sponsor of the 2018 Micro Games in Yap. The all-new 2018 Kona by Hyundai, available at Cars Plus. IP&E, fueling excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurant, located in Tamuning and Dedido. Always open, always local.
Coming up on Guam's primetime newscast, the lieutenant governor did what he as a former cop thought was correct in removing an officer's gun. But tonight, former police chiefs say it's Ray Tenorio that needs to be taught what's not right. Plus, controversy continues over how some Adaloop staffers don't have to give up their jobs when running for public office. And also, senators put pressure on the chief of customs during a confirmation hearing. Hafaday and good evening, everybody. And breaking news leads off this evening's newscast as the two teens who escaped from the Department of Youth Affairs cottage homes on Friday have now been captured. Agency Director Peter Alexisada does tell us that the pair were found up north together and are both said to be doing all right. Authorities will investigate, but ADA has said the girls are facing additional charges for escaping. Check out KUAM.com for the very latest on this. Well, a police investigation is underway involving a Guam Police Department officer working the Guam barbecue block party in Tumon over the weekend and Guam's lieutenant governor. It was an apparent gun incident where the LT, Ray Tenorio, pulled the officer's weapon from his holster. The lieutenant governor says it was done primarily out of concern for the public safety, but two former GPD top brass tell us that that was not the right move. Chris Barnett has more.
Two former chiefs of police telling KUAM News Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio endangered lives when he pulled a Guam Police Department SWAT officer's weapon from his holster Saturday night at the Tumon barbecue block party.
It is crazy and dangerous and reckless.
Tenorio, a candidate for governor, in a statement said, quote, he noticed an officer's gun was unsecured at the event with thousands of people present. I saw a teaching moment and wanted to demonstrate the danger of this. So Tenorio went up behind the officer and drew the cop's weapon from its holster. Former Chief of Police Frank Ishizaki said that was the wrong call.
I hope that he learns from this. Maybe the teaching moment should be for the Lieutenant Governor.
Do you think the Lieutenant Governor endangered lives when he pulled the weapon from a veteran SWAT officer's holster?
Absolutely. No question about it.
Going for an officer's firearm and pulling out of the holster really presented a risk that that gun could have gone off and discharged. Someone could have got hurt.
Former GPD chief and Lieutenant Governor candidate Fred Berdalio also calling out Tenorio for using the, quote, I used to be a GPD Academy instructor card.
And when we do training scenarios like that, we're not consuming alcohol. It's in a training facility. And we're not going to put any public or any citizens at risk.
KUAM News cameras catching Tenorio drinking a beer at the barbecue block party, or as some in the community are calling it now, the barbecue Glock party. Both chiefs telling KUAM News Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio should have known better. Alcohol and firearms don't mix.
If the Lieutenant Governor was under the influence or drunk, certainly it adds to the danger to the community.
Multiple sources confirmed with KUAM News Tenorio grabbed the service weapon of veteran SWAT officer Sergeant Carl Cruz. Cruz, also an expert marksman with the Guam Army National Guard. These sources telling KUAM News Tenorio tried to take Cruz's weapon several times, prompting Cruz to become angry and push Tenorio. These sources even saying Tenorio mocked Sergeant Cruz by dangling the gun out of Cruz's reach.
You don't do that in a public place like that and you've been drinking. So I think it's the alcohol. I think it's the liquor that's affecting the Lieutenant Governor's decision in that moment to try 3 times to be taking the police officer's weapon out of the holster. Is his firearms license even updated?
Tenorio said he took the officer's weapon because he was concerned for, quote, public safety.
You're endangering the public safety. Anytime you unholster a gun or get into any situation where you're grabbing a gun from somebody, that's a very dangerous situation.
Tenorio did not return numerous messages for comment, and GPD issued a release saying officers on the scene Saturday wrote incident reports and Chief J.I. Cruz will review them and, quote, move forward. Since no criminal complaint was filed, no investigation is underway.
The actions were so reckless that a criminal investigation should be done.
Chief Cruz, a prominent supporter of the Tenorio ADA team, even led the Bota motorcade for the village of Jotnya.
I don't know if Chief J.I. Cruz is capable of conducting or directing an objective investigation.
KUAM News requesting video of the incident, which according to sources does exist, and copies of all incident reports through Freedom of Information Act requests. While both Ishizaki and Berdallo say the Attorney General should investigate what happened in Tumon if GPD won't.
If anybody else had done this, they would have been arrested.
For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
All right, thanks so much, Chris. Public Safety Oversight Chair Senator Talina Nelson responded to the incident in part, stating, quote, regardless of who might be involved in these events, no one has the right to grab your sidearm. She also says, I do know that, regardless of his intentions, quoting her, his actions were reckless and unwarranted. We need to ensure a transparent process takes place as we resolve this issue. Also tonight, police now say it might be the officer's fault in that two-car collision in the early morning hours of July the 4th. Crash investigators from the Highway Patrol Division indicate possible violations by the officer, who was in an official vehicle when the crash occurred just after midnight on Marine Corps Drive in front of Kmart. The cop, whose name has not been released, was injured in the accident and was transported to the hospital. An Internal Affairs Division administrative investigation is also underway, with which to determine if there were any violations of GPD policies and procedures. Weather and road conditions may also have been a factor in this incident, as the crash occurred during the time Tropical Storm Marina was approaching our island. Well, she is a staff assistant, and they are sticking to it, but that's not what the black and white say at the Department of Administration. Sabrina Salas-Matanani has more on an ongoing issue.
Fact. Elected officials, special assistants to the governor, and legislative employees don't have to resign when they run for public office. That's why it's perfectly legit for candidates like Julia Cesar Santos and Tello Taitagui, who were reassigned to Adelup and reclassified to staff assistants so they wouldn't have to lose their jobs while running for office. But what about Amanda Bloss? She's running for a seat in the 35th Guam legislature, and she's listed on the governor's staffing pattern as an executive director of the Commission on Decolonization. She also identified herself as holding that position when she filed her financial disclosure reports at the Guam Election Commission. After our first story aired questioning whether she should resign, a complaint was filed with the Civil Service Commission. KUAM spoke with the former CSC executive director, Eloy Hera, who's familiar with the Mini Hatch Act.
Of course, the personnel action, the GG1 is where I would have, based myself on is what was she really hired for or as? What was she hired as?
Fact check. So what do personnel action forms state? Just today, KUAM received a response to our FOIA to the Department of Administration. And in black and white, it clearly states, on April 27, 2017, Bloss resigned from her $45,000 position as a staff assistant at the Office of the Governor. 6 days later, on May 3rd, she was hired as the executive director at the Office of the Governor, getting paid $82,000 a year.
So now Amanda and the governor would have to kind of sit down and choose really what would be her. And of course, if I was Amanda, okay, and I wouldn't put the governor in that position. If there's really a public opinion, I would resign from that position.
According to Executive Director Pete Calvo, the process has begun. Both parties have been notified that the complaint was accepted. The next step is for CSC staff to meet with them individually to discuss the matter. After the assessment phase, a report will be generated and presented to the board, who will then determine whether they will move forward with an investigation.
After our first story aired, the governor's chief of staff wrote a memo to CSC Executive Director Pete Calvo, assuring him that Amanda Bloss was, in fact, a special assistant. Elsewhere tonight is an action that is setting off quite the response, as Speaker B.J. Cruz has introduced a pair of new bills to raise taxes to help cover a huge shortfall in the government's new fiscal year budget. This comes after senators last week repealed a 2% general sales tax. The Cruz measures could generate another $105 million in revenue by raising the hotel occupancy tax from 11% to 15% and the GRT by another 0.5% itself, after it was earlier raised from 4% to 5%. In a statement, Cruz says he doesn't like either of the bills, quote, but no one can cut their way out of a $145 million shortfall without catastrophic consequences. The huge drop-off is blamed on the Trump tax reforms, which made big cuts to corporate taxes and more moderate reductions in individual taxes. Meanwhile, Cruz is also proposing more cost-cutting to include no new hiring or new deputy directors, a freeze on pay increments, a general travel ban, and a public hearing for those measures is scheduled for next Monday. Well, as the legislature prepares to debate the governor's new budget, Senator and gubernatorial candidate Frank Ogden Jr. has proposed a 6-month spending plan to begin the next fiscal year. In a letter to the Speaker, Ogden blasted the Calvo administration for what he called a lack of fiscal constraint. He says a 6-month budget would help limit public spending in the final months of Governor Calvo's term to critical government services. But rival Democrat candidate Lulian Guerrero says she disagrees with the half-year proposal. By way of a news release, the Bank of Guam president says the shortened plan would, quote, inject a huge degree of uncertainty and instability to a process that's already disrupting key government services such as education, healthcare, and public safety. Also tonight, these proposed actions force DOC to submit a third budget option at more than $17 million. It's one that prison leaders say would be the worst one to choose. In their own news release, officials say the third option would mean DOC would lack funding for meals or the health clinic. They say it could also form them back into a very costly federal receivership. DEPCOR says option 3 is based on a budget without a revenue source to fill the revenue shortfall caused by the federal tax cuts. This option, they say, would leave DOC ill-equipped to house inmates and detainees. Also chiming in is the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center, which states option 3 on the budget is like cutting us off at the knees, they said. Director Ray Vega also added, if you keep slashing our budget, we'll have to cut back on pharmaceuticals and our ability to help Guamanians. Well, trust me when I tell you, everybody, we are just getting started. Please keep watching and keep streaming because Prime Time continues after this, right here on KUAM.
There are more ways to experience KUAM News than any other source on Guam. Download the KUAM News app for your Apple or Android device for 24/7 news, sports, videos, weather, streaming with KUAM radio, and important news alerts. And stay connected at home with Guam's first app for Apple TV. All available now from the App Store.
A simple handshake. That's all Jake Calvo needed when he started his company. Today, 80 years later, we like to say thank you to all of you who have taken our hand in trust. Thank you to the dreamers. Thank you to the realists. Thank you to the family-oriented. Thank you to the entrepreneurial. Thank you to those climbing the corporate ladder. And to the ones starting a new life together. Thank you to the traditionalists and the edgy. To the young at heart and the old souls. Thank you to the daring, to the protective, to the practical. Thank you to the hopeful. To all of you from all of us, our deepest, happiest, and infinite thanks.
80 years here for you. 80 years thanks to you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
A strong economy depends on a strong middle class. Businesses need help to survive in these tough times, and new industries are needed. As your governor, I will propose tax cuts for small businesses. We will streamline government operations to create a more business-friendly environment. We will invest in infrastructure and in our people by expanding opportunities to learn much-needed trades. I'm in to help get us there, and I humbly ask for your vote.
I'm Lulian Guerrero, and I approve this message.
more ways to experience Guam via KUAM News, giving you what you want, when you want, and how you want it. From smart devices, Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing.
Over the web, on mobile, on streaming platforms, with immersive, interactive formats, and via social media where it's more than just content, it's conversation. More ways to keep you informed and entertained whenever you want it, wherever you are, on whatever device you're using.
Primetime continues right here on Facebook Live and KUAM TV 8 as a turn of events happening during the acting Guam Customs Director's confirmation hearing held Monday night. The discussion begs the question, will Eric Palacios continue to lead the agency entrusted to protect Guam's borders? But as our Keani Mendiola reports, senators put most of the pressure on the agency's chief during his testimony.
It was a hearing no doubt expected to be controversial. The focus, Guam Customs Acting Director Eric Palacios, who has only been in the position for about 2 months.
When Mr. Palacios first came on board in May, he immediately had made some seemingly premature and arbitrary organizational changes without first getting advice from the Chief of Customs, myself, or his leadership team as a whole.
But Public Safety Oversight Chair Senator Talina Nelson was quick to turn the discussion, then grilling Customs Chief Colonel Vincent Perez during his testimony on Palacios.
He made this decision without you, no? How was he able to move the special enforcement teams without your purview?
There was a memorandum that was generated that transferred these particular sections under my signature.
So you felt pressured to sign the memorandum?
I felt obligated to support my boss.
Chief Perez also admitting it was after he let loose, then opening up to Palacios, that he eventually realized his potential.
It's been only a short couple of months, and despite his rocky start, I have seen the effort by Mr. Palacios to ensure that consultation on matters relating to the agency is made in collaboration with his leadership team. I am hopeful that if confirmed, Mr. Palacios will proactively continue to work with our management team and our stakeholders to move forward and champion our efforts to build capacity for the agency to provide effective and efficient services to protect our borders and our people from narcotics, invasive species, bioterrorism, and terrorism, and other threats that can impact our people.
Perez speaking on Palacios' interaction with uniformed customs personnel to include increasing education and training, efforts to add about $10 million to the approved FY 2019 budget, and more. But it seems that the overly praiseful testimonies from supporters like Assistant Chief Colonel Philip Tyrone Jr. might have raised speculation elsewhere.
There's evidence that you've been working on it since before Director Palacios came into play, but it gives the impression that this only occurred when he came in May, in a couple of months. And so my concern is that either you're failing as the chief or something's not adding up here.
Additionally, Dr. Vanessa Oshiro of Mariana's Vet Care opposed Palacios' leadership. Oshiro bringing up his open support to the legalization of recreational marijuana during his 2016 senatorial campaign. Despite the discussion, Palacios is ready to continue his work at the agency.
Honorable Senators, I'm not sitting here to ask you for a job for the next 5.5 months. What I am here to ask of you is to bestow upon me the privilege of having 175 more days with the men and women of Customs and Quarantine Agency.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Keani Mendiola.
Well, the port, in other news, is putting the finishing touches on its first ever bond borrowing of over $70 million. Board members approved a payment of about $500,000 to cover the cost of issuing the bond. Deputy Manager Alfred Duenas says the bond was the highest rated ever for the public sector, saying it drew strong demand from investors and was 11 times oversubscribed after it did hit the market sometime last month.
We did not anticipate for our bonds to be sold at a premium. But we're very happy of it, and again, it reflects on the quality of the Port Authority of Guam as a creditor. All the investors saw the value in it. We had a very good debt service ratio, and that's why they were willing to pay more than the par value of the bonds.
Proceeds will go toward major infrastructure improvements, repairs to Hotel Wharf, and a new construction of a new port administration building. A formal bond signing ceremony is scheduled for Wednesday. Bringing a little piece of heaven to earth, the American Red Cross 18th Annual Red Ball is happening September the 22nd. This year's theme is Archangels, which stands for American Red Cross Angels, celebrating volunteers who are helping hands to those in need. Chairwoman Marie Calvo-Monge explains.
The American Red Cross ranks very years. She places the Red Cross in the hearts and simple multiplication, 1,000 tickets times.
In times of need in our community. Though we were really spared for the most part from the destruction and devastation of what's now Super Typhoon Maria, it was a reminder to all of us that we are still so vulnerable. And there are people, no matter how big or small, that are in truly need of our help, that are affected by bad weather and natural disasters. And so it's one of those causes that they do so much for our community. And so how could you not say yes to helping in their biggest fundraiser of the year?
One lucky guest will be the brand new 2019 Lexus ES350 Executive Sedan. Event tickets are $300 and raffle tickets are $100. The Red Ball will be held at the Dusatani Resort on September 22nd. Sports is coming up next. Please stay tuned.
Introducing the Alpha Plus app. With the rewards feature, you can earn points and get free rewards. Filing insurance claims gets no easier, as you can receive feedback within 24 hours. Easily check your insurance balance and insurance policy with the My Policy feature. So download the all-new Alpha Plus app on Google Play or the App Store. Alpha Plus, make every day a plus.
You guys just set it back there.
In this divided world, there are still things that unite us. Great music, thrilling games, and the love for that perfect burger. Ruby Tuesday Guam, for the love of burgers menu. For a limited time, get an amazing burger for just $11.99. Lunchtime at Ruby Tuesday Guam.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports, brought to you by Triple J. The UOG Athletic Department giving out 2 scholarships for some soccer players. We'll get to that in just a bit. But first off, some running from the National Guard 5K. Check it out. More than 1,500 runners came out in support of the Guam National Guard's 2K, 5K run, walk, stroll held at GPO in Tamuning. The run celebrated 37 years of service and sacrifice. Funds raised from the run will benefit the Guam National Guard's Family Readiness Group. Derek Mandel was the first overall finisher in the 5K with a time of 15:56. Ryan Metienzo finished second at 16:22. Manami Ejima was the first overall female to finish the race with a time of 18:15. Yumika Sugahara was second at 20:08. Karen O'Donnell crossed the line at 21:45. 2K Boys Division winner was Dave Santos, 12:53. 2K Girls Division winner was Mia Blas at 12:57. Anna Pangilinan was the first female Manumku 70 years and older to cross the line with a time of 31:51. Out of Bounds Golf Club held a fundraising golf tournament to help raise awareness for autism and money for Autism Community Together. The four-man Stable Forward tournament drew out 120 players at the Starts Guam Golf Resort. The event was Out of Bounds Golf Club's third annual charity event. Taking first for Flight A, Team SPPC, B Flight, Team PDN, C Flight, Killer Bees, Ladies Division, GPS Ladies. Sam Tecker won the closest to the hole, 5 feet 2 inches. The hole was sponsored by Titan and DP. Big shout out to I-94's Victorious for hosting the tournament. Check out Out of Bounds Golf Club on Facebook. The tournament is one of 2 Stable Forward tournaments offered yearly for competitive and non-competitive golfers. Congrats to Chris Santos for winning the Men's Physique Masters Short Class at the 2018 Ikaika Classic held at the Hawaiian Theater in Honolulu, Hawaii. Santos also placed third in the Men's Short Class Open Division. The University of Guam men's soccer team signed 2 George Washington High School Geckos to UOG Athletic Letters of Intent and partial tuition scholarships to play for the Tritons in 2018-2019. Hezekiah Cruz and Brandon Salumbides will join the UOG squad for 2018-2019 men's soccer season. The Tritons will play in the GFA Division I League or the Premier League, depending on what league will be sponsored by the GFA next season. UOG has ran their record to 29 wins, 12 losses, and 1 draw the past 2 years. Well, that's going to do it for sports. We're back right after this.
Where can you find a burger inspired by flavors from near and far that mixes the smoky with the sass of the South? Combines the sweetness of summer with the tang of the country for savory, sizzling, unexpected flavors. Well, you can find it at McDonald's. The new Bacon Smokehouse Burger. It's the newest flavor of the signature crafted recipes by McDonald's.
At Island Cancer Center, we treat our patients and their families like our family. We have all been touched by cancer, and it is important to feel comfortable and secure under the care of our health professionals. You can count on us for skilled cancer specialists, the most advanced cancer-fighting technology on the island, and a commitment to caring for you or your loved one with compassion, respect, and empathy. Our family, treating your family.
Island Cancer Center, located on Guam Medical Plaza. Visit us at islandcancercenter.com or call 646-3363.
When you purchase a vehicle from our dealerships, we give back to the American Cancer Society and Guam Cancer Care. With your help, together, we've raised over $400,000, giving local cancer patients a gift of more anniversaries, more birthdays, more years, more days. Together, we're giving them the gift of time. Triple J, customers first.
And before we end tonight's newscast, here are tonight's birthday shout-outs from Cold Stone Creamery. Let's get happy, everybody, as we say happy birthday to Kalea de la Cruz. Happy birthday number 4, Lele. This comes from your entire family. Happy birthday number 36 to Justin Alberto, Construction Island Style. Happy birthday to my cuñao Justin Albert, love sweetie Amy Doreen, your bro Comer-in-law Merv, and the twins. Happy birthday to Noah Manabusa. Noah celebrates his 9th birthday today. We love you, says your family. Happy birthday to Lavia Franquez today, who blows out the candles, as does Chloe Okiyama. It's Chloe's 7th birthday. Our precious princess, God bless you. We love you, from your family. Also, happy birthday wishes going out tonight To a member of the Salas family, this is Kylie Joy Babalta Salas. Happy birthday to you, Kylie Joy. And happy birthday to Joyce, to Jocelyn Borja. We love and appreciate you, say all of your friends. And last but certainly not least, happy birthday to Andrea Sanchez. Happiest of B-days and many blessed ones to come from your family and all of your friends, including us at KUAM and Cold Stone Creamery. And as always, everybody, membership has its privileges, but the best part, membership in the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club is free. All you got to do is go to our website at KUAM.com, register, and then tune in. Easy as that. You will totally make someone's day, and it's our pleasure to do so. It's also our pleasure to bring you Carmen Terlahi, and she is next with Health Check.
Closed captioning is brought to you by IT&E.